So up next, we have the institutional view on hype. Please welcome Matt Hougan, Chief Investment Officer at Bitwise, who's going to be joining Tangle on stage right here. Give a warm welcome.
Well, thanks for taking the time with us today.
I'm excited to be here.
Absolutely. As far as like what caught Bitwise's eyes in the beginning about Hyperliquid, and how do you guys think about hype as an asset manager?
Yeah, what caught our eyes? It was probably three things. So the first thing is always community. We look for projects with very strong communities. That means smart people who have dug in, learned about it, and cared about it. Hyperliquid certainly caught that. The second, honestly, was price. You know, Bitwise has been around through a bunch of crypto winners. We're 9 years in. And one thing we know is that when things show strength during bear markets, they can have explosive upside during bull markets. And Hyperliquid ticked that bucket. And the third was a little bit of crypto history, right? When you had FTX collapse, you knew that something new would step in to fill the vacuum and provide liquidity with trust. And the question was, would it be trust through regulated venues? And we've certainly seen that. Coinbase did well, Robinhood did well. Or would it be trust through decentralization and self-custody? And Hyperliquid fit that narrative as well. We knew that was a huge yawning gap in the market. We were expecting something to come in. When you looked underneath the surface, Hyperliquid ticks sort of everything you would expect from that. And as a result, it fit. I would say one more thing. I love situations where the market miscategorizes something. And that was the last piece with Hyperliquid. People saw it as a crypto app. We saw it as a super app. People saw it serving crypto futures. We saw it serving all financial markets. And that gap between market understanding and reality is like a huge source of alpha. And we thought that's something good to align with.
Amazing. With as far as the ETF demand, though, for like the within the Hyperliquid ecosystem, how does that help beyond just the hype token itself?
Yeah, well, it helps the hype token because it's more buying pressure. But the real reason it helps is firms like Bitwise are educational forces. We have 25 salespeople. We do 15,000 meetings a year. We give keynote speeches at the largest financial conferences. And when you have an ETF, you can then talk about the underlying asset. So you can think of Bitwise as one piece of this giant community that helps spread the message about Hyperliquid, brings it more into the large pools of capital. Like, look, the reality is institutional capital is a big force in the world, hundreds of trillions of dollars. And Bitwise is one of the forces because we have that ETF that has license to educate about Hyperliquid, to talk to people about it. And they don't know about it yet. It's still very new to most people outside of the crypto ecosystem.
Well, and one other thing that I quite liked or saw that you guys are doing too is that you made this decision to take 10% of your fees to buy and hold hype and put that on the balance sheet. So do you do this with any other assets? And tell us a bit about that.
Well, whenever we launch an ETF in an asset area that we care about, we like to align with the community interests. So as an example, when we launched our Bitcoin ETFs, and I love Bitcoin, we devoted 10% of the assets to funding Bitcoin core developers because without them, Bitcoin can't continue to exist. So when we're doing a major launch, and Hyperliquid was a major launch for us, we wanted to think about how do we align with the community's interests. And one way that's native to the Hyperliquid ecosystem, the buy and burn mechanism, the alignment of users and the token, is to stand behind it. So we're very excited to take 10% of those proceeds and just buy hype and put it on our balance sheet. It helps that it's a great asset to own as well. Like that's a nice benefit. But it's really about aligning with the communities. If the ETFs aren't aligning with the communities, I think it's like a fracture. I think they should all sort of take this approach of taking a portion and buying back into the community that supports the asset that they're building a business on, right? Which is what we're doing.
Yeah, that's great to hear. And now, as far as you guys staking your assets as well, I know you guys have a large portion of your holdings that you do that with. Are customers demanding that, or is that something that is just kind of a value add?
Yeah, absolutely. Look, the platonic ideal of an ETF is it gives you safe, secure exposure to the full economic opportunity of that underlying asset. If you're buying hype and not staking it, you're leaving potential upside on the table. So people absolutely want productive assets. They also, again, want to be aligned with the community. We have a lot of people in BHYP, our ETF, that love Hyperliquid. They want to be supporting the community. And of course, outside of our ETF business, Bitwise is one of the largest staking providers in the world. We stake a lot of assets directly in ecosystems, including the Hyperliquid ecosystem. So it's part and parcel of making the ETF an easy choice for investors. We don't want to have them trade off between buying it this way or buying it in the ETF. For people who want the ETF, we want to offer the full exposure at a reasonable cost with high quality staking with a strong track record behind it.
Cool. Now you'd mentioned the super app earlier here, and I'm wondering, like, how does Bitwise view the Hyperliquid's goal of becoming the house of all finance?
Yeah, I think I might start calling it the BitView. I like that. That's a good take. Yeah, I think that's it. I mean, that's the thing. When it first launched, I wrote a CIO memo about it. I write this weekly memo. That's the thing that people need to understand about Hyperliquid. It's not about the crypto market, which is a $2 trillion market. It's about the global asset market, which is a $600 trillion market, right? That's a 300x mistake. And it's very early to penetrating into that market. So when you think about the potential revenue growth, you're looking not just at the sort of existing crypto perps revenue pool, not just at the broader crypto derivatives revenue pool, but indeed the revenue pool for all assets, and with things like HIP3 and HIP4 expanding into other markets as well. I think super app is the right word. All assets accessible in all different ways, all exposures in one location. I think that's what it's building for, and that's what we try to tell people. When you look at Hyperliquid, you're not looking high enough. You have to be thinking 300x bigger than you're thinking.
That's a really good point. And how do you guys look at HIP3 and HIP4, and how does that help your ETF?
Yeah, I think it's a beautiful example for a couple reasons. One, you can point to next legs of growth, right? Like the best companies and projects in the world all have a series of growth curves. They don't just do one thing, right? Amazon did books, and then it did everything, and then it did compute services, and now it's a multi-trillion-dollar company. You need these multiple legs of growth. And one challenge, without HIP3 and HIP4 is how you get those multiple legs of growth. You're relying on a single team. You don't have community building. You don't have sort of the advantages of DeFi. The beauty of 3 and 4, and then of course potentially 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, is you have the potential to stack these new waves of growth, and that just increases the TAM, increases the excitement, makes it a community asset and not a centralized asset. I think really importantly, so we talk about that all the time, and it's a great proof point of things that Hyperliquid can do that its centralized competitors may struggle to do.
Great. Well, thank you again for coming out here today. And I want to say a shout out to the socks as well. Yeah, they're awesome.
The socks look fantastic. Everyone should get their BHYP socks. Talk to a Bitwise representative. We'll make it happen.
Amazing. Well, they're all if you got a gift bag today, they're in there as well.
Oh, there you go. Beautiful, beautiful.
All right. Hyperliquid.
Hyperliquid.